What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video on high altitude investing. In today's video, we are going to be talking about Bitcoin as well as Twitter and talking a little bit about what's coming in the cryptocurrency markets as price action continues to develop. You guys, if you're not a subscriber to my channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button as well as commenting down below. If you have any questions or coins you want me to cover in these videos, I will go ahead and see them in the comments section below. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight into today's analysis. So we're going to be looking at Bitcoin very first here, you guys. And the very first thing that I'm looking at is the support and resistance flip that's happening on the daily. As you guys can see, I have this white line in the background drawn, and this is a major support and resistance level. This was the same support and resistance level that corresponds to a lot of different important price levels that have formed as support and resistance along the way up and down inside of this market. As you can see, been a very important point of support and resistance. So as we're falling back onto this is actually going to form as support now because we've broken above it and we're coming back down onto it as a support level. So what I'm watching for is this support level to hold very strongly, for us to see a bullish reversal up off of that support level, and for this kind of bigger structure to take place. We had a huge kind of rounded structure over here, and now you can see that we have another big bottoming structure forming in this market. And so this is a very, very typical kind of bottom structure. You will get kind of either two rounded shapes, or sometimes you'll get two square-like shapes that form at the bottoms, or even you'll get a V shape along with a rounded shape. There's a lot of different kind of patterns that can form at those bottoms, but you'll notice in the bigger time frames that they will form very rounded structures or even square type structures as they do reversals. Also, you guys, there is an ascending triangle pattern target, which I did not share publicly because this is technically one of the short-term VIP calls. However, I will show you what that pattern looks like here on this channel publicly here. And you can see that this is the ascending triangle pattern. Now, normally this is a continuation pattern, basically meaning normally you're already in an uptrend and then you see an ascending triangle form, which is actually what we're looking at on Bitcoin already, like in the 3-day candlesticks. So if we come out to here, you can see Bitcoin on the 3-day candlesticks, we have an ascending triangle. So this is continuation. We're already in an uptrend, and we're forming ascending triangle structure. However, they can also be a reversal pattern. And that's what we're seeing at the bottom, because we're obviously in a downward trend in the short term from this peak down to here. And so they can also be a reversal pattern, just like how this falling wedge was a reversal pattern down here. That ascending triangle pattern is proving to be a reversal pattern off of this support. So because of that, there's usually a retest of the support level of that ascending triangle, and that's exactly what we're seeing here on Bitcoin. And again, I do expect this market to push up higher. Like I said, we have this kind of double bottoming structure forming in the bigger picture, which coincides with the ascending triangle pattern that I talked about in my previous videos up here on the 2-day candlesticks, as you can see. So everything is really following exactly as planned. Obviously, there's still some Ichimoku resistance on some time frames we will have to get up above. But overall, on the bigger time frames, like if we're on the 8-day time frame, we're actually on Ichimoku support. And the bigger the time frame, the more useful that indicator is going to be. And that's just because it's a resolution thing. You can think of like a screen that has 5,000 pixels versus a screen that has 200 pixels. As you zoom out, the resolution of that indicator increases. There is a certain time where it drops off the cliff, right? Like if I go to the 3-month, you won't even see the Ichimoku cloud anymore. It's not even existent. That's because this time frame is too big now. And so you can't even see the indicator, right? So it's not like just no matter what, if you increase the size of time frame, the indicator is more useful. However, as a rule of thumb, it does give you more resolution. You can see on the 5-day candlesticks, we have major Ichimoku cloud support. And when we broke out of this resistance of the Ichimoku in the last, major area of resistance, that's what led to this bull market in the first place. So the Ichimoku cloud can act as resistance, and when you get a breakout, you're going to see a huge move, but it can also act as support. And that's what we're seeing right here is the Ichimoku cloud acting as support on Bitcoin. So I do want to talk a little bit about Twitter, because I know Elon Musk increased his share in Twitter quite significantly, and I was just drawing some TA up on it last night. I'm really into technical analysis, obviously, and so whenever I hear something that is exciting, like Twitter, having some news with Elon Musk, I am going to go ahead and look at the chart. I was looking at Twitter long before this, and the reason for that is because of an inverse head and shoulders pattern. So there's a few things going on in this chart here. I'm on the 8-day time frame. You can see that there's a left shoulder right here. There's also a head, and there's a right shoulder. So we have a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder. That is a reversal pattern. And it's one of the highest probability reversal patterns, meaning that this is the bottom of a downtrend turning into an uptrend as a result of this inverse head and shoulders pattern, reversal of trend. And so that's a really, really important pattern to be watching. It's a huge pattern. It was forming since 2014, 2016, 2020. Now, the short-term target of that pattern was already reached, I believe. Let's see, because you measure the height of the head up to the resistance of the neckline, and then you can see that the short-term target of the ascending or of the inverse head and shoulders was reached at $79. However, it's a reversal pattern, so it can reach its target, pull back, and this can be leading into a bigger picture bull market reversal as a result of the ascending triangle or the inverse head and shoulders pattern. My bad. Mixed that one up twice today. So yeah, but we do have 5 waves up and we have an ABC correction down, and we do have a little bit of short-term resistance in the cloud, but this is the wrong settings for the Ichimoku cloud, because you have to have crypto settings. Crypto is a 24-hour market, and the world markets, they're traded through, obviously, the NASDAQ, and they're not 24 hours. So there is a slightly different settings for this indicator, that Ichimoku cloud that I'm using in the background to show that support and resistance. So it's actually not useful to use the Ichimoku cloud on Twitter with the wrong settings. So I will remove that. But just from the perspective of this chart, from everything else that I was looking at, there's a very clear 5-wave structure up with an ABC down. And what you're looking for is a fib relationship between that 5-wave and that C wave, and that stopped right at the 618. So you can see why Elon Musk may be increasing his share in Twitter. From a technical perspective, I do see a lot of bullish price action coming out of this. This is basically a 1 and a 2 wave leading into another bigger picture 3-wave structure. So I do think Twitter will follow what I was talking about with, the world markets. Of course it will, because it's a major company and stock just like Apple. But Twitter will follow the world markets as we see that huge parabolic rise over the next few years, specifically until 2029 is when I'm thinking that we'll see a repeat of the Great Depression. And so this is looking very bullish. It could be bullish all the way until then. 2029 is over here. So who knows what's going to happen in between now and then. And I could always be completely wrong, but that's part of the fun of having a public channel and sharing my personal trading journal with you guys. This is never financial advice. This is my trading journal. But you guys get to see later. Come back and watch these videos. See if Dallin was right about Twitter. See if Dallin was right about Bitcoin. I'm not going to be right every single time. I'm not going to be right every time in the short term, but you will notice in the big picture that my targets will play out. So with a high degree of probability. So I'm very excited about the future price action in the crypto markets, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's video on high altitude investing. Go ahead and comment down below and subscribe, like I said, if you're not a subscriber, and I will see you in those future videos. Oh, one more thing. The mastermind is still available for people to enter because there's still 35 times opportunities on a lot of these setups, even higher. So go ahead and apply for that if you want to make your first million or your first $100,000 investing in the cryptocurrency markets. So yeah, you guys, thank you for tuning in today's video, and I will see you in those future videos. As always, stay profitable out there.